Hi, I am Sarah Michelle with Happiness and Heals, and we're here today to talk about discovering your purpose and using it to serve others in your life. So, I'm here to talk with Lisa Van Tonder today, and she is started out as an acupuncturist and has gone into coaching and is now doing soul chart readings. And so, we're going to talk to her a little bit today about her journey into finding her purpose and how it's led her to the point she is today where she is using that purpose to serve others and help them discover their own purpose. So, hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Hey, so why don't you tell us a little bit about as you get started with your journey in finding your purpose?
How I got started?
Yeah, like when did you feel like this all kind of got going? Like, have you always felt like you need to find your purpose? Did it start as you came into motherhood? What was your trigger?
Yeah, it was definitely motherhood. I have two kids, and when my youngest was about 2 years old, I suffered like a massive meltdown. I think I had late postpartum depression that kicked in when she was about a year old. And that healing journey in itself really ignited a lot of things. And also, I was an acupuncturist before I had my daughter. So let's see, I got my license when my son was about 6 months old, and they're 2 years apart. So I got my license, and I didn't know if I wanted to go straight into being an acupuncturist or being a mom. And because I had this new profession and title and degree behind my name,
Yeah.
I wanted to give it a go. I wanted to try it. And so I got my own office and I started to work, and my son was about maybe a year at that point. And I just couldn't bear to leave him, and I couldn't bear to put him in the care of someone else. So it was a terrible start. I had about one client that I was capable of seeing a week, and even that was just such a struggle. So I put that on hold, and then I had my daughter, and who's just walking in the door now. um, and it just put me in a tailspin, to be perfectly honest, because I had all of these tools in my belt about health, and using that to sort of heal myself through the postpartum. It was all that I could think about. I mean, I was just constantly thinking in my head about what could I be doing? How could I be serving? It was sort of like a mental obsession, but I felt very torn to stay at home. And when she was about two, like I said, I was on the phone with someone that I really respected, someone who was kind of like an aunt to me. And she was in her 60s. And she was the only person I could talk to who really understood what I was going through at the time. And she had mentioned to me, she was talking about her dreams and how she still hadn't even pursued them herself. And she was 60. And she was okay with that. And she sort of brushed it under the rug. Yeah. Yeah. My daughter's asking me if she could take cookies to her friend's house right now.
Dough. Like, could we make cookie dough?
Sweetheart. Yes.
Yay!
um, yeah. So I hung up the phone with her, and I was just sort of stunned and amazed that her whole life had gone by and she hadn't pursued her dreams, and she was still not even really that interested in going after it. And a little side note to that, my mom had passed away before I had my kids at the age of 52.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that's another little backstory of like, wow, okay, what kind of a role model do I want to be to my daughter? And at that time, I was really exploring the ideas and notions about, it's not what we say to our kids, it's not what we do around them, but it's literally our energy field that is raising them and programming them. So we might say one thing, and really truly mean it. She's asking me for chocolate chips now. Excuse me. Look, it's kind of cute. She's holding me a note. She's being very polite. She's like, chocolate chips, cookie. All right. Where are they? I don't know, honey. Can we do this later? Okay. Sorry about that.
So I would like, can I interject here for just a minute?
Totally. Yeah.
I would just like to say that, like, this is why we're talking about today. You said purpose waits for no one. And
Totally.
You were talking about, to me, before we were doing this live, about this juggle of motherhood and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us are raised to believe that it's an either or thing. Like, we either see these women who go like strongly into their masculine and they say, I don't need a man and I don't need to have kids. I'm going to be like career focused, and they go off and they make shit happen, and that's great. Or we see these women who dive into motherhood and say, you know what, I'll set my purpose aside and I'll do this later on when the kids grow up. But the fact is, like, maybe neither of us have gotten there because we both still have fairly young children, but we've all had mothers and aunts and stuff like that. Like, the kids grow up, but they don't need you any less. The kids never grow up enough that you just all of a sudden have this space to find your purpose. You have to
absolutely
carve that space out in your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you have been doing and are still doing. So let's talk about that. Like, was there a moment where you realized, holy crap, I'm putting my purpose on hold and I have to find a way to integrate this?
Yeah, it was that moment. It was definitely
on the phone.
Yeah, the moment on the phone. I mean, I can still picture it in my head where I was standing when I got off the phone, and I was just sort of stunned. And I had never taken any time for myself. And I literally in that moment, I was like, I need to get away for the weekend. And I went and I visited my sister, and I had such a hard time leaving the kids. My daughter was 2. And that was just, it was so hard. It was so hard. But it ended up being one of the best gifts I had ever given to myself and my husband at the time, because, you know, at first it was really hard and he looked at me like I was crazy. He thanked me while I was gone, and he said he didn't know that he needed that time alone with the kids. But to be totally honest, with you and myself, I had that idea, that notion came up so many times. I mean, even to this day, I still fight putting my family first, putting everybody else first before myself. Like, that is a constant tug of war. So from that moment forward, it was just in that moment, I gave myself permission that no, it's what I'm teaching her through my energy field. Like, we're not supposed to put our life on hold. In Chinese medicine, there's an actual condition called unfulfilled desires. And it manifests as illness, disease, in all different ways, you know, in your body. And it's a real thing. Unfulfilled desires. And I thought, I can't raise my daughter this way. Modeling that behavior to put your life on hold so you can help everyone else. And since I had that awareness that it's more of my energy that's raising her than what I'm actually doing, I knew what was happening energetically was not the message I wanted to send.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you move forward now, you now have this awareness that you have to figure out how to juggle both of these things. What do you do, like, moment to moment? So like, you wake up and you're totally planning on working in your business for the day, and you get a call from school that your child's sick and you have to come pick up your child. How do you decide the moments where you push ahead with your purpose and know today is the day I'm going to work, so I'm going to set up so-and-so to take care of my kid, or it's okay, I can set my work aside today and take care of my kid because that's my priority? Like,
yeah.
And the guilt. I'm sure that there's guilt that comes with either option, right? Like, how do you juggle?
Yeah. That's a great question because they call it a journey for a reason. It's been such a journey of that exactly. Um, at first I thought it was supposed to be like this perfect scenario, right? Like the kids would go to school and I would go to work. It never, ever worked out that way. And part of what I'm understanding, these are where some of my biggest lessons are learned. And without fail, every time I would ever gain momentum in my business and truly decide, okay, I'm stepping it up, I'm moving forward, something would happen with my daughter. And it's funny because most of the time it actually shows up with her. She's like my biggest mirror. But somebody would get sick. It was inevitable. Something would happen. And I would put everything aside. And there were times where I would tell myself, well, maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe this is a sign that I shouldn't be doing this. And then a few months would go by where I would just devote myself to my family. And then I would start going crazy again mentally because all I could think about was my purpose. How can I be of service? Always thinking of messaging and what it is that I want to say and what I want to share and how I want to be a part of someone else's journey. So now I can honestly say, even in the last few months where stuff has been coming up, we're moving internationally here. The last few months ago, my kids got the chicken pox and I just decided, you know what, this is actually what life is. This is life. It's not so compartmentalized. And it really is a matter of, trying to figure out, I don't have to put anything on hold. I would even put my self-care on hold. And it's not, now I'm at a place where I understand there's no perfect day. There's no perfect day. There's no perfect moment. I mean, you should see, I put a note on my front door just now. Please do not disturb. Don't ring the doorbell. I'm on a call. And, she comes in and she's asking me if she can make cookies. It's a perfect example. And it's just learning how to roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of this has led you on a journey of finding your own purpose and saying yes to your purpose, which we can probably both agree is, like you said, a journey. Like it's always changing. So today we're going to talk about where it's led you to this soul chart reading. And have you share a little bit with everyone about what that really means and how that helps you serve others?
Yeah.
But it could be totally different in a year or in 5 years or whatever. And it's part of that rolling with it. Like you said, like it's like each step you discover more about yourself and you say yes to these beautiful parts of yourself. Yes. And these things that bring you pleasure and enjoyment. But as soon as you find something new or something different, whether it's a change or it's just adding to, it's like a constant saying, it's like a constant discernment. Wouldn't you say? Like it's either saying yes, add this to my life, or no, I'm clear on who I am and that doesn't need to be here.
Yeah. It's a journey. It's an evolution, and we pick up tools along the way. And where I'm at right now, so acupuncture was a tool, and then I discovered how to take that work deeper. And then and it was all through my purpose, uncovering deeper layers. Nutrition is a tool, intuition. As I kept trying to dive deeper into my own purpose, I discovered more and more tools to get me more clear, more specific, more grounded. And that's where I'm at now with the soul chart readings. What happened with that was I discovered it for myself because I was still really looking for certainty. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with this and I know that for a fact because so many of the soul charts that I've read are really based on that question, wanting certainty on their purpose. And sorry, do you see my video? Mine went out on my end.
No, it's out on our end too. There you go. You're right back.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so the
So
soul.
wanting certainty on their purpose, do you feel like the soul chart reading is a good first step? Like if you're just sitting here and you're like, I know I have a purpose, but I don't know what to do? Or is it more of a couple steps down when you already have some idea and you're tying everything together?
I have to say, when I started doing the readings, and I'm letting people just ask their own questions for the charts, I initially wanted to put sort of parameters up on the questions that they can ask.
Yeah.
And then I discovered, no, let's just see what the chart reveals. And I have to honestly say, I wouldn't put a parameter on anyone's question. If someone doesn't know specifically what their purpose is, to a degree, we all have some sort of a clue, right?
Yeah.
If you allow yourself the time to look back on your life, look at the experiences you've had, look at the wisdom you've gained, look at the things that you enjoy doing now, you have a basic idea of what excites you and interests you. And if you don't, it would be an easy question to guide you to that point. And the soul chart, I think really what the soul chart does is that it reveals to everyone really what they already know, but haven't given themselves the permission to accept yet.
Oh, yes. I totally know what you mean because I share
Yeah.
people and I feel very, very similar.
Yeah. And the other aspect of the soul chart readings that really I found comfort in for myself was, how I'm saying, life keeps happening. Life is going to keep happening, moving, health problems, anything that arises. I kept having certain situations keep popping up over and over and over again. You can call them lessons. I had lessons showing up in my life with the same theme. And I really felt like there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I can't get it together. I need to have this handled or squared away before I feel like I can really be of service to other people, especially if this is something that I want to support other people on or with. I feel like, well, shouldn't I have all my ducks in a row if this is what I'm going to move forward with? And the answer is no, not at all. And looking at my chart, I could see that my soul has created a plan for me. And it's basically, you could look at it as a curriculum in life, and there's basically a handful of different curriculums that we're looking at. And the soul is looking to learn and grow through what we can perceive as struggles or crisis or problems. But once I opened up my chart and I could see what that was for me, I could see that everything is truly happening for me.
Yes.
And that every lesson that I learn through these situations is literally a tool to be in service to others. And I think, especially when I looked at, as I've been looking at other people's charts and doing these readings, that is accurate across the board. Our soul's purpose. And if you have a business that you are, yes, my daughter would like to go swimming and her friend's parent is going to watch them. That's okay. She can go. Our soul is on a journey of growth and expansion. So what does that look like? That looks like a lot of trial and error in life. And for me, before I knew what that meant for me specifically, I really just felt like, why can't I get this area of my life together? Like, what is wrong with me? I'm nearly 40 and I'm still struggling in this area of my life. And then I opened up my chart and I read, oh my gosh, this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is how I'm meant to be learning and growing. And it's like a switch got turned on inside of me. It's probably the most empowered I've ever felt. It's the most at peace I've ever felt. You know, there's the conversation of balance. You know, we all want to be in balance, have a balanced life. And that, to me, that's almost like, you know, on the same line with perfection and a clean house. It's like, it only lasts 5 minutes. It's not real. Balance is not real. Balance is like maybe having a great day, but then something is going to come along. Something is going to happen. Life is going to present you with challenges, because that is what we're here for. It's not all sunshine. Yeah, we're here for growth. And for the people who feel called to it, we're supporting other people through their growth. And that's purpose. You know, everyone that I'm talking to who are seeking out the soul chart readings, they have a deep calling for a purpose and meaning and a mission. It's sort of an urgency that they're feeling inside of themselves.
Yeah.
And it's because we're just all helping each other along this journey.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your part or your story.
Yeah.
Into your purpose and sharing more about what this soul chart reading is. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to bring you on to share with everyone about today. So do you have anything you want to share before I wrap it up? I know I led with all the questions, so I just want to make sure I didn't skip over anything.
Yeah. What do I want to finish with? You know, it really is about enjoying life. We are really meant to experience fulfillment and peace. And I know for so many that really is attached with knowing what our purpose is. And that there are tools like human design, what you offer, like soul chart readings. There's so many different avenues out there for people who are trying to discover what their purpose is. Even just a quiet moment with a piece of pen or with a pen and a piece of paper, you know, and really giving yourself the permission to believe in yourself and what comes up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that giving yourself the permission, I think that's so true, because it's something I've learned along my journey is, you know, at first I didn't trust myself. So could I have sat down with a piece of paper, asked the question to the universe and received an answer? Yeah, but I wouldn't have believed what I got back.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Now the conversations are so natural that it's like, I don't even care how absurd it sounds. I'm like, yeah, that's probably it.
Right. And would you say that's because of the backbone of the information you're getting from your human design charts?
Yes. And you know, the trust was built over time. It wasn't like one day I magically was like, okay, I'm going to hand my life over and just something that comes from the universe. It was like getting information and taking those pieces and applying them and realizing, wow, this really did work out for my highest.
Yeah.
I didn't see how it was going to work out, but it did. And so the more and more that things do that, it just feels magical.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like, I want more of that. So you just keep
Yeah, and that's a huge theme. That's a huge theme, is really, you know, understanding that when we're trying to think our way through something, that's coming from between the ears, that's coming from the place of our personality and our ego structure. And when we get a piece of information and we're acting in blind faith, that's the universe. That's purpose speaking through you. Yeah. And that's when it gets really fun. That's when the synchronicities start showing up. That's how you and I are working together. Absolutely. That's moving more in a place of pure trust. right? Really handing it over.
Yeah.
It's so easy for us to say that we believe in the universe, we believe in infinite possibilities, but do you really? Do you really? Are you willing to just move forward in faith?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And like you said, we are working together. So we're going to come back with another video later on this week with me sharing my purpose and Lisa walking me through it. And we're just going to keep sharing all of this because we have something fabulous for you coming up in the future. We're designing a program to help those of you who are struggling to discover what your purpose is, create that foundation so that you can build a life around it. We're piecing all that together, and that information will be coming to you soon. But for right now, we just really want to share with you our stories and anything we can around purpose so that you can get that momentum building in your own life too. So thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.